what are you trying to tell me? It's better to lose to South Carolina than it is to be undefeated? I don't follow this logic. Now, real quick, I want to give you some reactions to the playoff ranking from Tuesday night. And I don't want to like harp on them. Listen, it's tough, right? You saw me. I changed things around here based on what I did on Saturday night and then what I did here today after kind of thinking about it. But there's two things. There's two things that I believe are contradictions from the committee. They clearly were trying to point to, hey, Georgia has a better win than Alabama. So regardless of how good the loss is to LSU, we're going to put Georgia over Alabama, which I'm fine with, okay? I mean, that kind of is what it is. That's their prerogative. The problem is you have to go down 4 spots for the committee to find an undefeated team with, by the committee's own rankings, the second best win of the season for teams in the top 10. So I'm struggling then. So like, what are you trying to tell me? It's better to lose to South Carolina than it is to be undefeated? I don't follow this logic. And then the logic was said on the conference call with writers after the ESPN show. They asked Rob Mullins, who has just a horrifically challenging job to try to explain the unexplainable. They asked him like, well, what about Minnesota? What was it? Well, he says, we felt that the win against Penn State didn't necessarily overcome the fact that was the first Big Ten team that they had played that was over 500. Fair. Okay, fair, right? Like their Big Ten schedule to that point was not great. Their non-conference was not great. Guess who else was playing their first league game against a team that was above 500? Alabama. Guess who else has a pretty poor non-conference, in particular when you take a look at schedule makeup? Alabama only has 9 Power 5 games on their schedule. Minnesota has 9 Power 5 games on their schedule. You can't tell me that Duke is carrying the day for Alabama. Now, if you want to say eye test, that's fine. Like, I totally understand that. We can go on eye test all we want, but you didn't use the eye test in Georgia and Alabama because Georgia has not been as impressive at times as Alabama has, even with their holes and things like the defense and the running game. So again, contradictions, and this is where I get to the fact that the system is flawed and broken, not in the fact that they give us bad rankings, because I think it's impossible to give quality rankings when there are not concrete qualifiers. When we're just trying to throw out the 4 best teams in college football, you can make any argument that you want for any team that you want, and everyone's going to be upset based on that argument. Because there's no way that you can use that argument consistently throughout the top 10. So why isn't Baylor being honored for their 2 ranked wins? I'm not sure. They're not even in the top 10. Minnesota, they're saying, well, they jumped up 9 spots. Yes, but you put them behind 4 one-loss teams. Minnesota's an undefeated with the second best win of any top 10 team in the college football playoff rankings. It's really tough, right? Like this is why I'm going to continue to say these rankings are somewhat of a sham and made for TV, which is fine. I understand it. We're on the ratings game. However, without a concrete criteria, this is what it's going to be. And it's not going to be fixed. That's why I've always proposed hey, we should make it you have to win your conference in order to go. Because then guess what doesn't matter right now? The college football playoff rankings, which they shouldn't. Last point I would make about the rankings, and this is something that I've harped on all season long, and I just want to bring it back up because it's clearly coming to fruition. Folks, if Minnesota was even ranked 15th in the preseason, if we thought they were going to be a good team, if they had the same hype surrounding them that me and others gave Nebraska in the preseason, would they be ranked 8th right now? The answer is no. So all of you who want to tell me that the preseason rankings don't matter, I'm telling you, you are wrong. Check out the playoff rankings right now. If Minnesota started the year in the AP poll ranked 15th, they would be 4th right now in the college football playoff rankings. Perception matters. Narrative matters. The structure subconsciously that we watch and view and consume college football matters. That structure is given to us by a poll that is quote-unquote meaningless and derives completely in the summer. What are we doing? What are we doing? I've told you all year. The preseason poll is bad for the sport, and this week is evidence of that. If Minnesota would have had the Nebraska hype, they'd be sitting right here, maybe higher. And everyone would be talking about how amazing the win over Penn State is. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.